A Marine platoon squares off against an invasion of aliens, and it all comes to a head in the City of Angels. Hello there, everybody. I'm film critic Nick Yakabuchi. This is RealScreenReviews.com, and our next movie review is the science fiction action extravaganza Battle Los Angeles. Battle Los Angeles opened around the nation on Friday, March 11, 2011, and it stars Aaron Eckhart, Michelle Rodriguez, Bridget Moynihan, and Michael Pena. This film comes to us from director Jason Liebesman, the director of previous horror films Darkness Falls and The Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. This time out, he casts aside the horror and treachery in favor of a Hollywood reinvention of Independence Day, and does so with the latest special effects and a very talented and credible cast. Our story begins telling us the same old tale that we've heard so many times before. There have always been sightings of unidentified flying objects all around the world, and anyone that sees them is considered to be a complete and utter moron. That is until the year 2011, not to be confused with when they attacked last November in Skyline, but yes, the aliens are back once again to wreak havoc on the humanity of the planet Earth. Just as in previous and similar stories, the major cities of the world are falling like dominoes, and all of the drama and thrills are coming down to whether or not we will be able to hold the city of Los Angeles. This is where an ordinary Marine platoon and their staff sergeant become the most unlikely of heroes, fighting an enemy never expected. Together they dig in and do battle with not only the worst of the enemies, they also do it under the worst of circumstances and have no choice but to succeed with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance. Well, people, to start with, Battle Los Angeles is much better than I ever would have thought going in. Now, this film does take a basic plot line and really doesn't add much to it. However, what it does is utilize and make as much use out of what it did do, and that's to put you smack dab in the point of view of the soldier as they combat these machines. The scenes of warfare are not only good, they're very intense as well. The movie also sets a very quick tone of despair and helplessness, and for most of the film, the humans are merely trying to survive from one moment to the next. The scenes of humanness and sincerity are few and far between, but when they are there, they worked pretty well. And put simply, people, it's not a very happy movie. The heart of the film lies, of course, with the lead actor, Aaron Eckhart. His Staff Sergeant Nance is living through a personal struggle with his men at the same time that he is attempting to command and do his best to protect human life. You know, Aaron Eckhart reminds me a lot of Liam Neeson. Now, I don't mean that they look alike, but they usually propel a movie to be better just because they are in it. They both just seem more credible and believable than most other actors, and Mr. Eckhart even had some really good heroic scenes very reminiscent of a Steve McQueen or a John Wayne. I thought the best and most interesting parts of Battle Los Angeles were when our soldiers were figuring out the aliens and how they worked. Radio signals, sound waves, and anatomy are all factors that come to light, and the more that we learned as the film progressed, the more I wanted to learn. Unfortunately, there is only so much that you can do with the alien invasion story anymore. This film really copied Independence Day and also had some District 9 and Cloverfield thrown in there as well. Some other issues I had were, why did they even bother to introduce 25 characters at the beginning of the movie if we were only going to meet about 6 or 7 all the way through? Also, with all of the distant, the long, and the very wide shots used in the film, it was very difficult to really see the villains up close. You throw on top of that 2 or 3 aftermath scenes, and I would say that the filmmakers stretched the modest $70 million budget as far as possible. There are also some supporting players worth mentioning. I like Michelle Rodriguez going all the way back to Girl Fight, and she's almost always above average. However, not only does she act the same in every project that she's in, she looks the same tough persona, talks with the same ruggedness, and even usually has a name like Sanchez or Santos or something like that. Then the most credible and underrated character actor in Hollywood, Michael Pena, shows up as a father attempting to get his son through this dilemma, and Bridget Moynihan also adds some tenderness to a story that was in need of every bit of tenderness that it could get. These individuals support the action and try to bring a human aspect to the movie as much as possible. Now, just shy of 2 hours, Battle Los Angeles was a great guy movie that I think has enough heart that it could muster an audience for women as well. It's not a bad movie and it's not a dumb movie, but it does maybe copy other existing films once too many times here and there. Still, if I had to pick a word to describe Battle Los Angeles, I would say that it's a solid film. What it set out to do, it succeeded at, and for that, I'll give it 3 stars out of 4. And remember, people, I'm not always right, only when it comes to the movies. And thank you for your attention.